Hello, welcome back to Amazing Makeover. In this video, I'm going to show you how to cut your own hair with a long bob and a little bit of layering, so stay tuned. Okay, so usually I just will eyeball it and trim. I want to trim a couple inches off, but this is a technique I'm going to try for the first time. And of course, I have seen it on YouTube. So I've been looking this up and a lot of people are doing this right now. My hair is pretty thick, so I'm going to do it just to get the length established. I want to do it in two different sections. So I'm going to part here right behind my ear. And all I've done so far is I washed and conditioned my hair with the Biolage products that I will link again in the description. They're the same ones that I talked about in my root touch-up video. And then I also sprayed in this Biolage all-in-one coconut infusion conditioner. I really like this stuff, so I'll link this as well. I believe you can get all this stuff on Amazon, but I got my products at Cosmoprof. So I'm going to do a part right behind my ear here. And I'm going to use these little plastic bands. And this is the technique that seems to be very popular right now as far as DIY cutting your own hair at home, just to make sure everything's even. And I'm going to just cut off like 1.5 inches. I want to make sure I have enough room left over for blending because I don't want it to get too short. So right about here. And then I'm going to do one for the back of my hair and then this one for the front. So I'm just going up about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. And that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to make sure both sides are even. This one's a little bit higher up because I do like a little bit of layering, but I don't like a whole lot of layering. I'm going to do the same exact thing on this side. So right behind my ear, I want to part it. Just because my hair is so thick, I just parted down the middle because I do different parts all the time. I don't always have the same part. If you always have the same part, I would part it that way on top, but part it down the middle in the back. So I'm going to look, I put it a little higher so I could slide it down to get it to match the other side. See? So I just slid it down, so now they look like they're matching. And this is a very wispy cut. It's not blunt on the bottom, so there's a little room for error. Make it match. There we go. That's about it right there. And the only things I'm using is my water bottle, my spray bottle, because my hair tends to dry fast. You want to make sure it's always wet when you're doing this part. and my cutting comb. I got these off Amazon. I can link those as well. And I got my shears off of Amazon. And I think these work really well. I will link these also. They're just simple black shears. They work pretty well though. Okay. So now I'm just going to cut right above the band. And I'm just going to hold it straight down and cut it straight across. There we go. Same thing with the other side. There we go. I feel like that was definitely easier than just eyeballing it. So same thing with these little things right above. I like to do it right above because then look, these are just, it's all tied. I can throw it right into the garbage. How much less messy is that? Usually I have hair all over the place. And this for my little layering here. There we go. There we go. So there's my length. And now what I'm going to do, because my hair gets really thick, so I'm just going to kind of take it. So this is my length. I'm not going to cut any more off, but it is going to get a little bit shorter because I'm going to go through and I'm just going to point cut it. And I'm just going to go through all of this and I'm going to just point cut it just like this because my hair gets so thick on the bottom. And this will make it blend really well together. So see how it's thick and a little bit blunt there, and this too. So I'm just going to go through all of it and I'm going to point cut all of it. Especially where these two layers meet. I want to make sure I point cut this section and point cut this section too. But also when I dry my hair, I'm going to do it even more when I dry it. So a lot of the length is established when the hair is wet. And then when I dry the hair, that's when I'm going to blend it a lot too. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to blend it more when it's dry, but I'm going to take half my hair up. This is just what I do to thin it out because my hair is really thick, especially during summer when it's hot. I like to thin my hair out. And I just go towards the back and I'll just take a section up, and I like to put just a little bit of slicing in it towards the bottom. I just slide my shears down. Okay, so I'll slide and kind of like inside of my hair, if that makes sense. I don't want big slices like right on the edge of my hair where you can see, but just, you know, maybe way back here. I'll take it and kind of down towards the bottom, just shimmy the shears down. And don't do too much, but that's what I like to do so it's not so heavy on the bottom. Just a little bit, some in here. You can look at it when it's dry and maybe do a little bit more, but you don't want to do too much because then if you have your ponytail up, those short hairs are going to be falling down and you don't want to do that. Okay, also what I like to do when it's wet is I will take like a top, we called it mohawk section in school when I went to Paul Mitchell. We take like a mohawk section up here I try to do like a wide one for this. I'm just gonna take those short layers that I have in the front and blend them in a little bit better. So I'm gonna just take all this hair up here, kind of take a little bit of the back, kind of go back a little ways, not too far back, but get that too. Comb it all in one place. You might need a better, I use my paddle brush for this. Take it all in one section. I'll just pull it towards the front here. And this I'm going to point cut quite a bit. So see, it already has kind of like a shape, which I like. It's kind of a triangular shape going on already. So what I want to do is just thin it out a little bit so it's not so thick. Okay, I comb it down like this and just gather it all in my hand. And I'm just going to point cut this. I'm not cutting anything blunt. I want to thin it out, point cut it on the bottom. There's some like scraggly pieces, so I'm going to kind of I'm going to point cut this part here. There's some like little scraggly pieces, so I'm going to kind of cut those at an angle here. Just kind of point cut up. But really where it's thick, I want to really get in there. I'm really bad at this, but you want to make sure it's directed down. You don't really want to cut it up. So make sure it's like directed down. But you can see it has a nice shape already. So I'm kind of just trimming up that shape. If there's any long pieces, I'm going to go in and just cut the long pieces a little bit shorter. But you don't want to make any blunt lines here. You want it to just all blend in nicely. And then I'm going to go do it on this other side. The same thing on this other side. Another really cool trick that you can do where the lengths are kind of disconnected here. See, here's kind of a thick piece. You can see it. I'll take this little piece and comb it down, and you can kind of twist it around. And then just on the very, very bottom, you slide cut it down while it's twisted. And that's kind of fun to blend it out that way. And it just thins the bottom out so that it all blends better. You could do it while it's dry too, but sometimes it's easier to cut through wet hair. Okay, so I blow dried my hair and I straightened it. And you can see it's still really choppy. So that's why I always finish my hair cut dry, because I can see exactly how it's laying and it's still too blunt. So I really need to thin out the bottom. And I did use this thermal protection Paul Mitchell hairspray. It is flexible style, hot off the press. I will link this. If you don't have a thermal protective spray for your hair, I definitely recommend this one. Anytime you put heat to your hair, whether you're blow drying or flat ironing your hair, you should spray something first to protect your hair, especially if you have bleach or anything, hair color, anything in your hair. This one is called Hot Off the Press. I've been using this for years. And this one, unlike a lot of the other ones, this one is actually, it acts like a hairspray as well. So that's why this one's my favorite one. And I will link this below. Okay, so now I'm going to go through and I'm just going to keep point cutting. Because that's when I cut my hair, usually that's what I have to do the most, is I have to point cut a lot. But when my hair's dry, I can tell how much more I need to point cut. And it's actually easier to point cut it as well while it's dry. Some of these where there's a disconnect in layering, I can go through and I can use a slide cut, which gives it that layering effect. So you can start where the shortest part is and just layer it through the long length. And just slide cut it a couple times that way through where it's the short layer and then it's kind of getting longer, so you have some connection there. And then where it is shorter here, I'm going to go through and I'm going to point cut this a lot.
really choppy right here, so I'm just going to. And I'm just going to do that all the way across, especially here.
You could even take it this way and see how it's like short to long. Take it here, hold it like this, and then I could just kind of point cut, but kind of at like a diagonal, because that's going to help the shape blend in better. Point cutting it this way and then doing it a little bit at an angle, that helps to just get that shape in there, because I just want it to be kind of a gradual shape. See how much better that is? Much better.
And see where there's like a long and a short? Going this way. See that? Feel that? My hair's really thick on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to point cut this way. And then this long piece, I'm going to go kind of at a diagonal. And just... And this is a little long here, so... You can see these long pieces. I'm going to kind of point cut that a little bit.
Also, what you can do is take your texturizing shears and you can kind of at a diagonal, you can take little pieces, and this is an easier way to thin out the bottom as well. So that's starting to look better. So basically I just keep using those techniques until I get the look that I want, and then I style it. And this is just a makeover. I felt like I needed a trim. I usually don't go this short, but I'm planning on giving myself highlights, and it's a lot easier when my hair is short and healthy. So I'm going to be doing that probably in the next week or so. And this is a pretty good length for that. Okay, so here's the finished look with styling. This is usually how I would style my hair with a shorter length. And for those of you who don't really know what to do with your hair, you're just bored with your hair and you want a makeover, I would always suggest going a shorter length because it's easier to have a style that way. With my hair this short, it's gonna be easy for me in the morning to just take my flat iron, and all I did was you just take a strand of hair and you just put the hair in and you twist it around almost like a ribbon. So like this, and you just keep turning and turning and you turn. It's so easy, and that's all you do. And you have a curl. So that's what I did throughout my whole head. And again, you keep turning your flat iron all the way down, and it's super easy. For this length, it's perfect to use a flat iron to do this. And then, yes, I will show you guys, I'm going to be going really blonde, so this is going to be an easy length to put my hair in foils for the highlights. So I'll be making that video soon. And Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions or suggestions, please comment me down below. Give me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Thank you.